There are many different ways to get a sample from a population. In this presentation, we're going to look at 5 of those sampling techniques. Let's look at our population. This population is 100 pieces of candy. Some are M&Ms, Skittles, or Reese's Pieces. Our goal is to see what percent of the candy are yellow. Our first technique will be convenience sampling. In this case, we'll just take the 30 pieces of candy that are closest and easiest to get to. As we can see, there are 4 yellows out of the 30 pieces, so that's about 13.3% yellow. Our next sampling technique is a simple random sample. We'll start by assigning a number to every piece of candy from 1 to 100. Next, we'll generate random numbers on our calculator by going to Math, Probability, Random Integers, and we'll ask the calculator for numbers from 1 to 100, and we'll get them 5 at a time. And so we can see our 5 numbers, 2, 85, 36, and so on. And every time we hit enter, we'll get 5 more. And we continue to do this until we get 30 random numbers to give us which candy pieces we'll use in our sample. Now that we have our 30 random numbers, we'll separate those candy pieces to make our sample. And we can see again that we got 4 yellow pieces out of 30, or 13.3% yellow. To do our third sampling technique, systematic sampling, we'll again need to arrange our candy pieces so that we can number them from 1 to 100. Since we have 100 pieces of candy and we want a sample of 30, we'll take 100 divided by 30 and get 3. This means we'll select every 3rd piece of candy to be a member of our sample. This time we get 6 yellow pieces out of 30, or 20% as yellow. A fourth sampling technique is called stratified sampling. This is where we break the population into different strata according to some characteristic. In this case, what kind of candy. We'll put the Reese's Pieces in one group, the Skittles in another group, and the M&Ms in a 3rd group. We'll then use our calculator to randomly select 10 pieces of candy from each strata to be in our sample. We can see that this gave us 7 yellows out of 30, or 23% yellow. The 5th method is cluster sampling, where we divide the population into clusters based on their geographic location. We then randomly select one cluster to be our sample, in this case cluster number 2. We can see that this time we had 6 yellows out of 30, which was again 20%. So in summary, we have seen the 5 common techniques that are used to get a sample: convenient sampling, simple random, systematic, stratified, and cluster. Each one of these sampling techniques has an advantage and a disadvantage, and it really depends on your population and what you're studying as to which technique you would choose. We will talk more about this in depth in future lessons.